Hi, I'm Mark. This is Mark's Tech Vlogs on YouTube, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Twinkly Dots smart lights. Now, Twinkly make loads of different products and they all fit into this kind of smart light category. However, they don't do things like bulbs. They do kind of strip lights and curtain lights and flexi strips and that kind of stuff. The things that bring ambience into your rooms. And they do even do some fairy lights as well. Today, however, I'm going to be reviewing the Dots, and this is the first set of Twinkly lights that I've owned. And at the start of this video, I want to give a shout out to the channel that introduced me to Twinklies, and that was the Sandbrook Adventure. That's a YouTube channel I watch all the time. It's a partner channel to Theme Park Worldwide, and I just love their videos. They're great fun, and especially the Christmas videos Sean and Charlotte have been doing on the Sandbrook Adventure have talked all about Twinkly lights, and that's what got me interested in them and Googling them and eventually picking them up. So if you like theme parks like me, then do check out their videos as well. So in this video, you're going to see the 200 light pack of the Twinkly Dots. Although it doesn't really matter which size pack you get, they all behave exactly the same way. And a lot of the features that you'll see in the Twinkly app also apply to Twinkly's other products. Now, I purchased these to go on my Christmas tree, and the reason I went for these rather than the fairy lights from Twinkly was actually because these are a bit more versatile. And the slim design of these means that actually I can use them somewhere else for the rest of the year, whereas fairy lights do tend to look a little bit bulkier and you tend to just use them on things like your Christmas tree. However, it's Christmas, so my review is based on using these on my Christmas tree. And let's start off and talk about pricing. So the 200 pack I got, which is 10 meters long, retails at about £90. If you do shop around, however, there's quite regularly offers on Amazon, and I also found a really good deal on eBay, and I'll put a link to that below as well. If you want the bigger 400 light pack, which is 20 meters long, that will cost you £160. And then if you want the smaller pack, which is 3 meters long and has 60 lights, that will set you back around £50. This means they are quite pricey, but actually they pack a lot in, and I actually think they're worth it as a bit of a luxury product. So let's talk about specification. So when you buy these, you can choose whether you want a black wire or a clear wire, and I actually went for the clear wire. Now, I think in retrospect, the black wire might have looked better on my Christmas tree, but I still think the clear wire looks fine. You probably want to bear in mind what you're going to be setting them against when you purchase it. Now, the Twinkly Dots have a flexible wire and then a dot every so often. This makes them really lightweight, but also really easy to stick onto things using the included sticky dots. And you don't need to put a sticky dot on every single light, just every so often. This means they are really versatile, and you can wrap them around to kind of funny shaped mirrors or frames, and also they handle corners better than things like light strips. And of course, they even work on Christmas trees. And of course, in my situation, I haven't got any sticky dots on the tree because they don't need to be stuck to the tree, they just need to wrap around like normal lights, but I have used some sticky dots to get them around my star at the top. Now, these smart lights are used for Twinkly app, but they are also compatible with a wide variety of third-party services. This includes Amazon's voice assistant, who I won't name, Google Assistant, Homey, Razer Chroma, and then most importantly for me, Apple HomeKit. Now, at the moment, there is no Matter support, and I haven't found anything talking about Matter support for them. However, when they're compatible with all of these services, I don't think you need it. And that's also in part because they work via Wi-Fi, which means there's no need for an external hub. That means you get out of home access straight out of the box without anything extra. It's worth noting that only the second generation Twinkly lights work with Apple HomeKit, and not every single Twinkly product. That means your best bet when you're researching this is to check the Twinkly website to see if the product you're looking at is HomeKit compatible. The second gen Dots, as you probably guessed, are. So continuing on with spec, each LED on these has 16 million plus colour combinations. And this is really impressive, and each of these dots is only 0.8 millimeters in diameter. You can also get them with two different ratings, so they can be IP20 or IP44. The latter means you could use them outside if you wanted to as well. And then they do connect to your phone via Bluetooth if you want them to, but also via your home Wi-Fi. This is particularly useful because if they're outside of your Wi-Fi zone, you can still control them with your phone using a Bluetooth connection. One of the really cool features is you're able to group multiple packs of Twinkly lights together. This means if you've got a larger room, or if perhaps you get a bigger Christmas tree and want to extend what you've got in the future, you can just buy a second pack and join them all up. Now, when I say join them all up, I don't mean you can connect one strip to the other, but you can digitally sync them and say they're all part of one set. There's also an optional add-on which will allow them to sync to music. This isn't something I've tested or purchased. So let's talk about the design of these. So the design of these is pretty simple. In my case, it is a 20 meter flexible cable with colourful dots every so often. At the end of it, or the start, depending which way you look at it, there's a good length of extra cable before the communication block and the plug. This means if you've got some distance between the kind of start of your lights and where your socket is, you can easily reach this without wasting lights. This also makes it ideal for something like a Christmas tree, so the lights can start on your tree and not part before it. All in all, this is a simple, flexible design and it's not bulky at all, it just looks really good. So let's talk about setup. So setup is really easy. The starting point is to put the lights where you want them, so for me on the Christmas tree, and then you just download and open up the Twinkly app. When you first open the app, it will ask you to create an account and then you just sign into that account. From there, it will talk you through the process of pairing your lights. This will include connecting them to your home Wi-Fi network. If you're not in range of Wi-Fi, perhaps if you've got them outside, it will also talk you through how to do it the other way as well. It's also at this point you can update any firmware and also add them into the Apple Home app if you want to. And then it's also at this point you can really unleash the power of the Twinkly lights with their mapping functionality. And mapping is a way of basically teaching your phone where each of your Twinkly lights are in order to create some really impressive patterns. You don't have to do this during setup, you can do it at a later date, and this is just done through the Twinkly app. Mapping should be done, however, once your lights are in position. The normal mapping mode does it from just one angle, whereas advanced mapping lets you take it from several angles. And the advanced mapping basically gets you to use your phone camera within the Twinkly app to capture the lights flash in different colours from different angles. You'll do it from one position and then change position and do it again. And this allows the app to build up a picture of your lights. And in this process, it learns where each individual light is and allows them to sync together to do some really cool things. This includes things like being able to work from the top to the bottom of your tree, or maybe even do a colour coordinated rainbow. This is really impressive and best illustrated on something like a Christmas tree where the order of lights doesn't necessarily follow the order of the strip. Once you've mapped your lights and set it up, you can play around with literally hundreds of thousands of settings in the app. So let's talk about using these Twinkly lights. And of course you can just have them on at a static colour and adjust the brightness and just leave them to do their thing. However, that's not where they're fun. The fun is when you start playing around with the different effects. You can play around with different patterns in the app and mark your favourites so you can easily find them again. You can also browse and download from hundreds of extra effects you might download as well. This ranges from patterns to pictures or even just some static effects. And using these shows off how powerful that mapping functionality really is. And the tech that achieves this is absolutely incredible, and I'm just mesmerised by it. And if all of the pre-existing patterns that you can browse and download weren't enough, you can even create your own. This is done in the FX wizard in the app. And you can start from a pattern and build it out if you want to. You can draw something with your finger, or you can even upload a GIF. There are literally endless possibilities with these. And then if you did just want a static colour, you can adjust this and the brightness in the Twinkly app as well. There's also the option to set timers so they come on and off at particular times. And then we should also talk about the third-party services, and for me that's been using it with Apple's Homekit. And this means I can ask Siri on my phone or one of my HomePods to turn the lights on or off, or set a colour or change the brightness. Now when you turn them on or off, they always remember the last state. So if you had a pattern going from the Twinkly app, it will come back on with that pattern. Likewise, if you'd set a static colour in Apple's Home app, it would remember that colour when it comes back on. What you can't do in the Apple Home app is set patterns, and I think this is actually to do with a limitation of Apple Home app rather than Twinkly. And of course, one of the best things about this HomeKit integration is that you can use it with other automations around your house. That means you can tie it into the when the last person leaves, turn off all the lights thing. It might also mean you want the lights to come on when a particular accessory comes on in the room where the lights are. So maybe if you turn on your television, that's the time when you're going to want those lights on, especially if they're on something like a Christmas tree. And for me as an Apple user, that extra HomeKit functionality was the reason I chose these. And that's because I like having everything in the same app, and it means I can get everything to work together. And the Apple Home app just works well. So all in all, what's the verdict on the Twinkly Dots? So from looking at Twinkly's massive product range, I actually think these are possibly the best product they offer because they are massively versatile. Their design allows them to be easily shaped or work around awkward corners, especially in a way that a traditional light strip can't. They can also work on something like a Christmas tree. Because they're lightweight, they're less likely to fall off over time. I've got one of the Philips Hue light strips and it does not like staying stuck for a long period of time. These, however, with their much lighter weight and more flexible cable, are far more likely to stay stuck in position. And then of course, they are plenty bright enough and have hundreds of thousands of effects you can play around with. And that mapping feature just makes these the coolest lights I've ever seen. And it's not just that they bring mood to a room or to your Christmas tree, they're just really fun to play with. And the tech that makes all of that mapping happen is just so impressive. And really, these are next level lights for getting ambience in your room. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you do want to pick these up, I have put a link below to them on both Amazon and eBay, which is where the best prices tend to be. Those are affiliate links, so if you use those links and make a purchase, thank you very much because that helps this channel out. I don't make these videos as a full-time job, this is something I just do for fun, and so doing something like that just helps this channel out, so thank you. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel. And if you've got any questions about these, do stick them below because I'll answer those for you. This is a product I've purchased for myself, and I hope you guys have a brilliant Christmas. I'll see you guys again soon.